And so if you build it from the inside, because you have a weightlifting belt, you have 4 layers of a weightlifting belt in your middle. And most of us don't use it, right? Especially what's called the corset muscle, the deepest one, which is the transversus abdominis, that really wraps all the way around to your back. And if you want to think about this knitting in, it's also energetically where the samana vayu, so the one prana that really governs digestion, or is the vata element that governs digestion. Small intestine is really your agni, your basic fire that you light, is governed by pitta, but they work together. And samana is the one that spreads out. And so when you spread out, you also have to hone in, or like dial yourself in. So we're going to do some things at the beginning to really think about those 4 layers, that whole wrapping, that containment. And it's like you have your own boundary. So with your own boundary, you have this freedom to express. If you think about ballerinas, right? They're so beautiful. And so much of their movement is this energy that goes all the way out beyond the tips of the fingers, beyond the tips of the toes. They're never like heavy, right? Like they look like they can be lifted up by one hand, and they're just like, oh, they govern their energy, right? If you think about the difference between like a cat, right, versus a hippo, for example. So be a cat. What I'm trying to say. So think about, just take your hands to the front body, okay? But this goes deep all the way in and all the way around. Think about the tips of your hip bones. You can take your fingertips to your hip bones in the front. And what we want to feel in every single pose is that your sacrum, sacred bone in the back, goes wide, and the hip bones go towards each other. And so it's bone, right? But if you just press in, you can even take the palms of your hands. If you draw in, I feel a lifting up, right? It's like an invitation for the mula bandha to rise. So the pelvic bones in the front are moving in, and then we'll press the thighs down, because that's going to make more space, okay? And then, because we're going to be lying on our backs, just bring your fingertips to your rib cage here. And so if you play this, the tips of the bottoms of the costal cartilage, where the ribs are lower in the back, and then your fingertips on the hip bones in the front, you can think about a square, right? Because you can always take it back to that geometry. And so what I want you to feel on your back is that these 4 corners stay in connection with each other, okay? So you can think about a string, or just this like a whispering together. So there's always a connection, no matter what we're doing with the limbs, okay? And if you are very flexible, which is why very flexible people have trouble with boundaries, that would not stay connected, right? That would be that rib cage wheel popping forward, okay? So don't let your fingers get farther apart from each other, regardless of what your limbs are doing. Sound good? That's my little spiel to start. So let's lay down on our backs.